safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
So just listen to this, because I've egged it so much that you might fear I've over-egged it, but I don't think I have. I think this is quite brilliant, and it was written in response to our clip, actually, about the weird dislike of Prince Harry and his wife and where it comes from. And a lot of people are unhappy with the observation that her ethnicity is one of the most obvious reasons to distinguish between her and other female members of the royal family. But so the Twitter account is called Royal Suitor, and as with so much online, I don't know what's real and what's not, but the byline on this is RS Lock. Pay attention. This is really important. It's only a 3-minute read, and I'll share it with you now, because I felt pennies dropping as never before when I read this. So we'll start at the top again. I might do my Jackanory voice for this. All right, I won't. Imagine a society founded on a class structure with the brackets white, close brackets, and the brackets are important, British royal family at the top as determined by birth and by blood, right? Don't have to imagine it, that's what we've got. It's not a matter of opinion, that's a matter of historical fact. A biracial woman enters the top of the pyramid by marriage, negating both the birth and blood requirements society had previously been told were preconditions. Because she lacks those prerequisites, she's considered unworthy. Because she's proud of her own heritage and regards herself as equal to others at the top of the pyramid, she's considered ungrateful. The town criers called out from the lower tiers of the pyramid, "I've never met her, but I look at her and I don't think I'd like you in real life," said one. "We Brits prefer true royalty to fashion royalty," proclaimed another. These are direct quotes from prominent columnists and commentators. Shouts of "she just doesn't speak our language" came whistling on the wind. But at the top of the pyramid, the cries were met with silence. So she's under attack in some fairly horrible ways, and they expected perhaps to get some support and protection from the boss, or even the brother. Were they too far away from it? Were they too disconcerted to know what to reply? Or did they use the cacophony from below to muffle the echo of their own whispers as they murmured the same things? The loudest gossip monger was impossible to ignore as he oafishly admonished her to go back to America. There was a brooch, I think, worn by one of the royals at an early meeting with the Duchess of Sussex, which I should double check the facts before I describe it. But have a look yourself. After years of being told that she was unworthy and ungrateful, the newlywed took the crier's advice and returned from whence she came. Despite one tattler's audacious cautions not to force her husband to, and she quotes again, "choose between you and us," he did in fact choose his wife, just as he did the day he married her, much to their chagrin. Ironically, though society spurned her placement at the top of the pyramid, when she leaves with her husband, for some, it calls into question whether the pyramid's peak is still something to aspire to. God, this is good. Whether those at the top are truly elite. Whether blood and birth really are prerequisites. Their departure is considered a rejection of the pyramid as a construct, thus a rejection of the society itself. For others, it was a necessary repudiation and confirmed that just as they suspected, she was NOCD, which translates as not our class, dear. And remember, the Duchess of Cambridge took an awful lot of jip for A, not being an aristocrat, and B, having a mother who had once worked as an air hostess. But she towed the line and fitted in. Final paragraph. Still, that wasn't enough. For society to maintain order, she must be reclassified and her elite status conferred by marriage removed. But the society is trapped in a conundrum. Her husband and their children are at the top of the pyramid by birth and by blood. Now, I'd remind you, this was written before today's announcement about patronages and honorary military appointments being removed from the Duke and Duchess. Her husband and their children are at the top of the pyramid by birth and by blood. Removing titles, military honours, and patronages won't remove her from the top of the pyramid. The only thing that will reclassify her is to remove her from her husband. And the society has been working diligently, though unsuccessfully, to that end since the day they learned that Harry and Meghan were a couple. Do you know, I don't even know the real identity of the person that wrote that, but it seems to me to be the most insightful, informed and plausible explanation of matters royal that I have ever read in my life. And while you won't be surprised to learn that I don't have a spare room full of royal biographies or royal histories, I do read the papers every day, and I try, for obvious reasons, to read stuff that I don't like and papers that I don't agree with. And I have never read anything even half as good as that. Partly because it makes absolutely perfect sense. Partly because it retrospectively explains so many things that I have been baffled and confused by. Indeed, it was inspired, that little piece, by the phone-in we did on Monday, asking what on earth is it that she's supposed to have done wrong? And
hello and a warm welcome to Sussexful. I'm your host, Emma, and I'm so glad you're here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Sussexful, the channel that truly supports Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. In today's video, we dive into a powerful moment as James O'Brien reveals the deepest and most insightful commentary yet about Harry and Meghan. Words that perfectly capture why this couple continues to inspire millions around the world. Through all the hate, lies, and media noise, James speaks the truth. And once you hear it, you'll understand everything. This is a must-watch for everyone who believes in love, integrity, and standing strong in the face of injustice. Join the conversation below. Tell us what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Sussexful for more inspiring stories celebrating Harry and Meghan. The Royal Rupture, an unprecedented psychological portrait of Harry and Meghan. In a groundbreaking revelation, radio host James O'Brien has peeled back the layers of complexity surrounding the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, offering listeners an intimate psychological landscape that transcends mere tabloid gossip. Drawing from nuanced observations and expert analysis, O'Brien articulates how Harry's profound trauma from his mother, Princess Diana's tragic death, and Meghan's experiences of marginalization have fundamentally shaped their collective narrative of royal rebellion. Their departure from the traditional monarchical framework isn't just a personal choice, but a deeply psychological unraveling of generational pain, institutional constraints, and a desperate quest for authentic self-determination. O'Brien suggests that their story represents more than a celebrity drama. It's a powerful testament to individual healing, familial reconstruction, and the challenging journey of breaking generational cycles of emotional suppression within a centuries-old institutional structure that has long prioritized protocol over personal emotional wellness. Royal Rebellion: How Harry and Meghan Defied Tradition and Redefined Their Destiny. The love story of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was never destined to follow the traditional royal playbook. Their relationship, which began as a whirlwind romance that captivated global headlines, quickly transformed into a powerful narrative of personal agency and rejection of centuries-old monarchical constraints. When they made the unprecedented decision to step back from senior royal duties in the year 2020, they weren't just changing their professional roles, but fundamentally challenging the rigid expectations of the British royal family. Their departure, dubbed Megxit by the press, represented a seismic shift in how younger royals could define their own paths, prioritizing personal happiness, mental health, and individual purpose over institutional conformity. By choosing to relocate to the United States, establish their own independent foundation, and speak candidly about their experiences, Harry and Meghan effectively rewrote the script for modern royalty, demonstrating that personal authenticity could triumph over historical protocol. The royal drama continues. Public opinion fractures over Markle family feud. The British public's reaction to Samantha Markle's latest legal maneuver has been, well, predictably polarized, with media outlets churning out endless commentary that keeps the royal family's internal drama front and center. While some sympathetic observers view Samantha's persistent legal attempts as a desperate cry for attention, others see her actions as a calculated assault on Meghan's carefully constructed public image. British tabloids have seized this opportunity with characteristic enthusiasm, dissecting every legal document and speculative claim with breathless intensity. Talk radio shows and morning programs have been running segment after segment, inviting royal commentators and legal experts to parse the nuanced implications of this ongoing familial conflict. The relentless media scrutiny suggests that, despite multiple court dismissals, the public's appetite for royal drama remains insatiable, with each new development guaranteed to generate clicks, views, and, heated water cooler discussions across the United Kingdom. The hidden machinery behind royal family conflict. James O'Brien exposes the truth. Radio presenter James O'Brien skillfully dissected the ongoing Markle family drama, revealing a nuanced perspective that goes far beyond tabloid sensationalism. Drawing from his years of forensic media analysis, O'Brien suggested the conflict represents a calculated strategy rather than a spontaneous family feud, pointing to sophisticated external manipulation that weaponizes personal grievances for broader media narratives. He argued that figures like Samantha Markle and Thomas Markle are not acting in isolation, but are likely pawns in a complex information warfare game designed to destabilize the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's public image, with potential orchestration from media interests threatened by Harry and Meghan's independent storytelling approach. The Buckingham brouhaha, royals caught in the crossfire. True to their stoic form, the royal family's official communications have been a masterclass in diplomatic restraint, carefully threading the needle between acknowledging the ongoing drama and maintaining an air of regal detachment. Behind the polished palace walls, however, sources suggest simmering tensions have reached a boiling point, with various royal factions privately wrestling over how to manage the increasingly public implosion of familial relationships. The unspoken palace protocol, traditionally centered on presenting a united front, is being severely tested by the persistent media storm surrounding Harry, Meghan, and their escalating conflicts with extended family members. While publicly maintaining a veneer of calm, insider whispers hint at deep fractures within the royal household, with some members viewing the ongoing saga as an unprecedented threat to the monarchy's carefully cultivated image of stability and grace. The royal exit, a personal stand against media manipulation. In the whirlwind of public scrutiny, Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from royal duties emerged not as a hasty rebellion, but as a calculated response to a toxic media landscape that honestly threatened their family's mental and emotional well-being. Drawing from their deeply personal experiences of media harassment and institutional pressure, the couple viewed their departure as a necessary act of self-preservation, prioritizing their individual agency and protecting their children from the corrosive narrative that had systematically undermined their humanity. Their perspective was rooted in a profound understanding that maintaining their integrity and psychological health required a radical break from the traditional royal expectations, effectively reclaiming their story from a system that had long controlled and distorted their public image. The Royal Reckoning. How Harry and Meghan's revelations shake the monarchy's foundations. The ongoing saga of Harry and Meghan's departure has exposed deep fault lines within the British royal institution, threatening to fundamentally reshape a centuries-old establishment long perceived as immutable. Their public disclosures have not merely challenged traditional protocols, but have effectively weaponized transparency, forcing the monarchy to confront its archaic internal dynamics of privilege, racism, and emotional suppression. The potential long-term consequences are seismic, a generational shift that could either modernize the royal family or accelerate its gradual obsolescence. With younger generations increasingly demanding accountability and authenticity, the monarchy faces an existential crossroads: adapt and humanize, or risk becoming a relic of imperial nostalgia, preserved more as a historical curiosity than a living, breathing national institution. The Royal Saga, a global media spectacle. The Harry and Meghan narrative has exploded into a full-blown international phenomenon, transforming from a mere royal drama into a global media circus that captivates audiences from Los Angeles to London, Sydney to Singapore. International press outlets have dissected every nuanced detail of their departure from royal life, turning their personal story into a transnational commentary on privilege, racism, and institutional power dynamics. While British tabloids continue their relentless critique, global media platforms have increasingly framed the couple's journey as a complex narrative of personal liberation and systemic challenge. Their influence transcends traditional royal reporting, sparking conversations about colonialism, media manipulation, and the evolving nature of public figures in the digital age. The couple's strategic communication, through documentaries, interviews, and strategic revelations, has effectively weaponized their platform, turning what could have been a personal family dispute into a global discourse on identity, representation, and institutional accountability. The Markle melodrama, a never-ending legal circus. As the legal drama continues to unfold, Harry and Meghan seem increasingly focused on moving beyond the toxic family dynamics that have plagued them. Despite Samantha's relentless legal attempts, the couple remains committed to their philanthropic work and building their independent life away from the royal spotlight. Their Netflix documentary and Oprah interview have already spoken volumes, and they appear more interested in forward momentum than engaging in prolonged legal battles. While Samantha persists in her quest for attention and potential financial gain, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue to prioritize their personal growth, their children, and their advocacy work, effectively rendering these repeated legal challenges little more than background noise in their evolving narrative. Royal Rebellion, decoding the Sussex saga of personal liberation. The Sussexes' journey illuminates a profound narrative about modern royalty's evolving dynamics, where personal autonomy trumps institutional constraints. Their deliberate choice to step away from traditional royal protocols represents more than a personal rebellion. It's a generational statement about individual agency, challenging centuries-old hierarchical expectations. By prioritizing mental health, personal boundaries, and authentic self-expression over rigid royal mandates, Harry and Meghan have effectively rewritten the script for what it means to be public figures in a contemporary landscape. their experience underscores a critical lesson. Personal well-being and genuine self-determination are paramount, even when confronting deeply entrenched systemic pressures that have historically demanded unquestioning conformity.